Jesus, boys, girls, in-betweeners, we are back with a episode. I think this is the mix-up. I'm not sure. I haven't really decided. This could be this could be an ongoing thing. It could be a one-off. I've got no idea. I have for you a man who is a myth. He's a legend. He's by far the most attractive person on Twitch right now. That includes anyone any T streamers that we're talking about. They're just out the window. We're talking about Robbiesla. Easily the face of esports in Australia. How are you doing, sir?
Wow, what an intro. I'm not
no pressure, no pressure.
True, but I'll take it. Yeah, I'm alright. I just got back into my nice air-conditioned apartment and just winding down today with
you got air
a nice
conditioning.
conversation with my favorite man, Red Gambit.
I've forgotten what air conditioning felt like. That's neither here nor there. So, for people who are wondering, why am I talking to Robbiesla? Because they don't know who you are, in which case they should. This will educate them. This will be like a re-education center for them, where we'll just inject information straight into their eyeballs and ear holes. It's probably going to be painful, but they'll be grateful at the end of it. You are a man who is not only one of the biggest Australian streamers on Twitch, which is not anything to be proud of, because there's only like 5 of us.
Yeah, there's about a dozen at most, if we count the lurkers.
Yeah, there's that. And you are also a member of the Brisbane Deceptors, which is a Australian esports team, or so I'm told.
Yeah, apparently. Yeah.
Yes. And you're part of the Gfinity tournament for Street Fighter V.
Yeah. So I was team captain of the Brisbane Deceptors for both Season 1 and Season 2 of Gfinity Australia. Mm-hmm. Not because I'm the best, but because I guess I'm a bit of a face for the community. I mean, I can hold my own, right. But...
Okay, we'll get to the Gfinity stuff in a moment, but I want to talk about, because you haven't been streaming on Twitch really for that long, really, comparatively speaking. Because I started streaming way back in, and I say way back, I mean, it's not really that far back, in like 2014. But I think you've been doing it for less than that.
Yeah, well, absolutely. I really started about July last year, so it's coming on for 18 months, let's say.
Okay, 18 months. So you started out with Street Fighter V, I'm assuming.
No,
is that
I didn't, actually. No? I started off with Crash Bandicoot speedruns, to be honest.
You started speedrunning?
Yeah, I was speedrunning Crash Bandicoot.
I didn't know this. Can we dive down this rabbit hole?
Yeah, I mean, I just kind of started streaming on a whim. I just kind of had a lot of spare time, didn't really have any friends, I guess, and was like, let's just see how it goes. And Crash Bandicoot just came out, and I ended up really loving the game and started speedrunning it a bit.
Yeah. So were these like serious speedruns? Did you have like a timer on the corner of the screen, or you didn't have splits or anything like that?
I did the splits and stuff, but they weren't like super competitive, splits. So.
How good were you at the Crash Bandicoots?
I think at the start, like it kind of, I'm way down the ladder now, but I think I kind of settled in like 11th, 12th place on the leaderboard for Crash Bandicoot 2. Okay.
Did you have any sweet tech for the game?
No, I honestly didn't get that deep into it. Like Crash Bandicoot's a pretty simple game to speedrun. You just kind of do one level after the other and then just get through it all, and try not to die.
Okay. That usually helps, I'm told. All right, so how did you go from Crash Bandicoot to Street Fighter?
I was just kind of doing whatever I wanted at the start, right? I was doing Crash Bandicoot, played some Hearthstone, nobody watched that. And then, Abigail came out. And I was, I was like, I loved Abigail, man. Like everyone was losing it. And like, I saw the trailer and he's like doing his backstep with his finger guns. He throws like a forehead flick. And I'm like, this character's awesome.
I think I still have a clip on my Twitch of when I got a double perfect on your Abigail. Because it was like day 1 and I was just beating the shit out of you for playing Abigail.
Wasn't the best of Abigail. But people just started kind of enjoying Street Fighter, I guess, And I guess I just kind of bonded with the community. Like everyone seemed to be really nice and wanted to play games with each other. And it just kind of started.
So had you been playing Street Fighter before that?
What was that, sorry?
Had you been playing Street Fighter before that?
Yeah.
Or was that like your first real foray into it?
I started, I mean, everyone says this, right? Like, everyone says they started playing Street Fighter 2 and stuff, but like that doesn't really count, right? Like you just playing it as a kid, you don't really get it, you know.
Well, we didn't have the arcade culture that a lot of people in the Japan or the States or anyone else had. Like, I don't know about you, but like for me, Street Fighter 2 was going down to the fish and chip shop at the corner and playing it there because somehow they could afford a Street Fighter 2 machine.
Yeah, man, I remember playing like a lot of I can't remember which one, but it was one of the early Marvel games at the fish and chip shops. I used to love that.
Yeah,
stuff.
exactly.
But yeah, really, I kind of got really into it. Super Street Fighter 4. I went to university, and right outside my university was it's now the 1UP arcade. It used to be Time Zone. In the city. So I'd I'd go to my uni, do like a lecture or something, and then I'd just go downstairs and play Street Fighter. And I'd get my ass handed to me. You versed me in
against
4.
people or the computer?
I've never been good at Street Fighter 4. Like there is something about the game that just does not click with me. But like
I was never good at that either. But when you get your ass handed to you, was that by people or by the computer?
Oh, by people. Like that was. There was always people at that arcade. It was. I really got into it. It was just always like a nice community. Everyone come down there at lunch and play games. And like that was kind of my entry. And I realized I was spending enough money on the arcade that I should just buy an arcade stick and play at home. But yeah, I sucked at Street Fighter 4, like all the way through. It wasn't until like Ultra Street Fighter 4, like I've been playing it for like 4 years, that someone was like, you can punish a blocked sweep with a sweep. Like I just didn't get it.
In Street Fighter 4 you couldn't do that. In Street Fighter 5 sweeps are safe on block in Street Fighter 4.
All right, well, I didn't even know that. That's like, this is a testament to how bad I am at Street Fighter 4.
I'm pretty sure. Well, actually, I'm not going to embarrass myself, but I'm actually going to check my frame data app just to make sure of that. I'm pretty sure.
And then we're going to edit this section out.
That's right, and then we're going to cut it. If I'm wrong, it's just going to be an abrupt cuts, and we'll be talking about anything other than that. Well, let's go because Ryu is always the benchmark. I always like look for frame data. So let's have a look at Street Fighter 4, Ultra Street Fighter 4. Let's check Ryu. And just see how bad I am, because I was never good at Street Fighter 4 either. I played online a lot, but I never got very far with that. Let's see. No, that's close heavy kick. Where's crouching heavy kick? Here we go. Crouching heavy kick is actually minus 14 on block, so it's probably not safe.
Yeah, it doesn't sound safe to me. Okay,
well, we all learned something today. I know you can't counter sweep it, but anyway, that doesn't matter. That's neither here nor there. So who'd you main in Street Fighter 4?
Dudley.
Okay, so what made you go from a boxer to a wrestler?
I mean, Street Fighter 5 at the start was kind of rough for me. I really enjoyed Karen at the time, and then I was like, you know what, like I'm not good at this game. I just want to try and learn some basics, and I forced myself to play Ryu. Ryu, I should say. I'm going to get yelled at for this.
I wasn't going to correct you on that, but yes, it's Ryu.
And then Alex came out, and I was like, I'll give this character a go. And I just really enjoyed him. He kind of forced me to learn set play, which is something that I'd never really learned in Street Fighter 4. And as stupid as that sounds, because Alex doesn't really have any set play, but for the sake of the argument, I thought he had set play, so I was trying to play set play.
Right.
And it kind of.
So when you talk about set play for people who aren't aware, what do you want to describe that? Or?
So I think Zangief's a good example, right? So you get like a big command grab, and then you dash up, and you're plus enough that you're putting them into a guessing situation. In which case, simple Zangief situation is like, well, he could do another grab, or he could do like a jump EX command grab or something, right? Like so. He's putting you in these situations where you're guessing, and you're just trying to carry that momentum forward and just keep them guessing until they get command grab 4 times and they're done.
So it's a little bit like a flowchart, but maybe not as regimented as that.
It's a 50-50 flowchart. And I just really enjoyed just like making them guess and trying to like figure out like what they're trying to do, and then like I felt like I was smart. It makes you feel like you're smart when you guess right all the time.
I don't ever know what that feels like.
I'm sure you did. And I mean, it sounds stupid now because now I realize Alex doesn't actually really have any set play. But it just the simplicity of Street Fighter 5. Like, it's not a simple game, but everyone says it's a simple game. Compared to Street Fighter 4, it's a simple game.
It is simpler compared to Street Fighter 4, but it still has a lot of depth.
Yeah, like when I was playing Street Fighter 4, I was so focused on like one frame lengths and all these ridiculous combos that were super satisfying to pull off. But kind of because of that, I never really learned to play Street Fighter properly. You know what I mean? Like I never learned to play footsies. I never learned to open people up. I never learned the set play even, you know? I was just so focused on trying to not drop these like 2 frame lengths that were my bread and butters, you know?
Yeah.
And Street Fighter 5 made that simple, you know? So I started paying attention in other areas. So really Street Fighter 5 is when I started to not be bad.
I think, well, I mean, I share a lot of similarities with you there in the sense that like Street Fighter 5 was the first fighting game I took really, really seriously. Street Fighter 4 I took a little bit seriously, but I kind of had this mentality of I'm just going to do whatever I want, and if that's wrong, then too bad. So that's which kind of explains why I never really got very far in that game, because I just wanted the game to play my way rather than me to play what the game wanted me to play.
I think that's fine. You know, I think Street Fighter 4 allowed more of that. You know, it was slightly more open ended, and it was just because of like the flexibility and the combo structure and stuff. It was just more fun to do that. You know what I mean? But I guess Street Fighter 5 is a bit more like, you just want to win, really, you know?
Street Fighter 5 is just like you get hit 3 times.
Just pick Guile. Just flash kick some people.
Just click. Okay, we'll get to that a little bit later. All right, so I've told you I've got a flowchart for this. All right, so you picked Alex. So you like your big body character. So you liked Alex. You liked Abigail. So okay, so Abigail just came out. You decided to start streaming, and that was just really what took off for you from that point. You said, okay, this is what I'm going to do from now on. This is what I'm going to dedicate my time to. This is the hill that I'm going to die.
Yeah, pretty much. I just started to get to know people in the community, and it just kind of worked. You know, when I was streaming other games, it was more like I was just a spectacle. You know, people just watching me just be an idiot. Whereas I felt welcomed in Street Fighter. You know, like there was always people to talk to, always people to play games with. And, you know, I slowly started learning more about the community, Team WP, you know, streams like your own. And it just felt welcoming and warm, you know, and it made me want to keep playing Street Fighter. Like before, I would kind of force myself to play Street Fighter 5 for like an hour a day, you know? Like I'd literally force myself, you know? Because I just felt like I was just versing like nameless bots, you know what I mean? Like they're not bots, like they're people, but it didn't feel like they were people. And streaming kind of brought me back to like my arcade kind of roots, right? Where I was talking to people, I was fighting people, and then like, you know, they'd help me, I'd help them, and it just felt nice, you know.
It's kind of crazy. Like I remember those times where I used to think that like if I practiced once every 2 weeks, that would be enough. And now it's at the stage where it's like I can't barely go a day without playing the game in one form or another.
Yeah, I forced myself to take breaks, like Sunday to like Monday kind of thing. And then the first day's back is always, it's a struggle. It's like, oh, oops, that B&B that I've had down for weeks now, I'm dropping it.
That new bit of tech that I've been using, I've just completely thrown out the window and gone back to all the old tricks.
Smart reset, Robbie. It's like, no, that was, yeah, I'll take it.
All right, so you've staked your claim on Twitch. You've built yourself a following. It's starting to pick up momentum. Where do the Brisbane Deceptors come into this? How did that become? Well, how did you go from Twitch to esports?
Oh, God. So I mean, Gfinity was pretty open in season 1. Like no teams really had players, you know, and all these teams were looking for players. And Gfinity had, God, it was like 7 weeks of competition or something. And they had three competitions a week. So there's like 21 tournaments or something. Just online tournaments, like to get points, and then the top players would just get put into a draft pool for the other teams to pick. So I played in as many as I could, and I only just made it in. And then I got picked up by a team. You know, I don't think the teams at the time really knew much about Street Fighter, so they just kind of picked names that sounded cool. And then
Robbiesla was just way up there on the cool list. Like next to Pussy Slayer 99XX, there was Robbiesla.
What might have helped this is one of the Gfinity like admins came into my stream chat one night while I was playing in one of these competitions, and I can't remember how it went down, but basically I said that if I got drafted, I would do a dance on the Gfinity stage. I still have not done that for them. They keep pestering me to do it. And one day
is it going to be like a Fortnite dance or?
Yeah, I don't know. I think we've left it so long they will probably end up like picking a song and making me do the whole song. But yeah, I mean that may have had something to do with it. They may have been like, well, you know, I want this guy to dance on stage. That'll be entertaining to draft that guy.
Okay.
So I got put on this team, and they put it all in like a Discord like group chat, and they were like, "Who wants to be team captain?"
And of course, no one puts their hand up.
Everyone put my hand up.
Oh,
they were like, Robbie. And I was like, "What?" Like
that's really generous.
They were like, "Well, I mean, Robbie kind of knows everyone, you know. Robbie knows like everyone and what the matchups are and stuff, and how we can like kind of make our roster and stuff." So yeah, that's how the Brisbane Deceptors got stuck with me.
Okay, so what's interesting to me is that we're into season 3 of Gfinity now, and Brisbane Deceptors, you know, you're cruising along. You're not kicking out, you're not knocking out of the park, but you're not doing terribly either. That said, I feel like you've become something of a crowd favorite, especially amongst the announcers, and for a lot of reasons. And part of that is because you tend to put on a bit more of a show than some of the other players. Do you want to go into that?
Yeah, I mean, I think it just kind of comes into my life philosophy, really. If I can make someone, just like one person, if I can make one person like laugh or smile every single day, then I feel like I can die a happy man. You know, like I don't feel like life's about me, and in that way, like I'm obviously a competitor in Street Fighter 5, but I'm more interested in making sure that everyone is having a good time. You know, I would, and I mean, I think it's kind of why I end up being a bit of an idiot on stream and a bit of an idiot on camera a lot, is because at the end of the day, if I make a bit of a fool out of myself, but someone else gets a giggle out of it, then like that's a net positive outcome in my head, you know. And
for people who haven't seen this, I mean, we might be able to find footage of this. I'm not sure if we can, but there you go to Gfinity and you go dress up as Alex. So you got the face paint, you've got the headband, you've got the shirt, the khakis, you got everything going on there.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I just kind of, no one told me to do it. I just figured it was a fun thing.
I think people love it. I think, you know, there's a reason that they keep getting you out there to work the mic and things like that. And this is something that I've talked to you about before privately, that, like, you know, I think you should take the ball and run with it rather than like being like, oh, you know, why are they doing this? It's like, fuck you, like, you know, if they're going to give you that screen time, take it, man, go with it.
Yeah, absolutely, man. It's like, I would like I don't think I've actually gained that much like following from it. You know, like my Twitter account hasn't gone up that much, but at the end of the day, I don't
it can't hurt either. It hasn't hurt your Twitter following.
People might see me in future events, and if people are having a good time, even if they don't say hi or whatever, like I'm happy, you know, and I'm not gonna shy away from the camera.
There haven't been people who've been like, man, fuck that Robbiesla, he dresses up like Alex. I don't want to be associated with that. I'm getting out of here.
I'm sure some people have been like, this guy's an idiot, but at the end of the day, I think it does more good than it does harm, you know.
No, I don't think it does any harm. I think it's great. I think it's wonderful that you want to get out there and put yourself out there, because I sympathize with that. I think that's a good quality to have. So I wasn't for a moment trying to insinuate that you shouldn't do that. I was just trying to elucidate the people who may not know about you and maybe seeing footage of you dressed up like a clown and wondering what's going on with that.
Have you seen the one where they made us like work out in the park?
I can't say that I have.
Really? Well,
no.
If you ever watched Gfinity,
and again, if you can find
they were
footage,
talking about my chafed nipples.
I did see that.
They would. So what happened is they got this. Oh god, they got like this instructor, this workout instructor. You know the music clip "Call on Me."
Yeah, I do. Yes.
That instructor was our instructor.
It was the same guy.
The same girl. Yeah, the girl. Like,
the same girl
one in the front doing like the actual instructor.
Oh wow!
And they tried to make her dress up like Cammy, and they took us to this park.
Did you still have like just the massive wedgie going on from a costume?
Yeah. I'll send you some clips afterwards.
Oh, like this is going to be in the footage. Don't worry. If we have clips of this. No. We'll put this in the video. If this is YouTube appropriate, even if it's not YouTube appropriate, it's going in there anyway.
But basically, she was looking real shy, you know, like she's in this skimpy outfit, and I was like, you know what Alex doesn't have is a Brisbane Deceptors jersey. So I just took it off and put like the Alex straps like over my nipples, and tried to do like push-ups and stuff. Yeah. That was fun.
I feel like that didn't go as well as you hoped.
No, my nipples hurt for weeks. I didn't do many push-ups. It was just a bad time, really. But people seem to enjoy it, so that's what I'm more interested in.
Just painful memories with Robbiesla. All right. Okay. So that's Brisbane Deceptors, and that's going really well for you. Is there? So you just wrapped up season 3. Is that right?
It's season 2. Season 3. Presume.
It's season 2. Okay. So season 3 is starting up next year then.
Presumably, they haven't announced anything, but
okay.
Yeah, I would presume so.
All right. Okay. So going back to Street Fighter, let's get a little bit more into the nitty-gritty about what people might be interested in. So season 3 has every season people have complaints about the seasons. You know, season 1 it was Ryu and Chun and Nash. Season 2 it was Abigail and Laura. Season 3 it's Akuma and Cammy and Guile. How do you feel about season 3 and the current meta right now as it is?
I'm kind of conflicted, honestly.
Yeah.
See, I think season 3 and not season 3.5 was very good. I felt like in season 3 they tried to slow down the game a little bit, you know, try and remove like throw loops and stuff, and they tried to move the game in like a very, in my opinion, like a good direction. And then I got really confused because they released season 3.5 and they almost toned some of that down again. They like, you know, nerfed V reversals on characters that didn't need nerfing. Nerfed like, you know, characters like Ed. Like Ed just got the short end of the stick. There was no buffs. It was all nerfs. V reversal is now useless.
Ed too strong.
Like I don't understand what they were doing there. But
yeah. Well, okay.
I mean,
let me get.
It's worked out okay. You know, I think Ibuki is busted. I think Manat's busted. And not busted because she's like overpowered, but I just don't think anyone has fun like versing zoners in this game.
It's important to note, I think, as well, that initially the game did not have zoners in it to begin with. Before Season 1 DLC started coming down the pipe, the most zony kind of character was Dalsum, and he wasn't really a zoning character. He was a mix-up character who also spent a lot of his time rushing you down.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a good point. It seemed like at the start there was a very... They were quite decisive in saying we don't really want zoners. You know, I think Fang is testament to that. Like, I think Fang is such a weird character because I feel like by design he's meant to be a zoner. You know, he's throwing these poisons. He's like slowly whittling down your health. But in the end, I think they were scared of making him too strong in that department. You know, like it's not fun like getting poisoned and then just dying. You know. And I think that's why they kind of tried to give him like a more offensive kind of approach. And you know, even when Guile first came out, you know, like he had all these crazy like V-trigger boom loops and stuff, right? And now you know they're actually, it seems like they're trying to put more zoners in the game. Even the change to make Guile's, I think it's his boom pushes back more than it used to. Which is it's like good and bad. You know, it just means he's more tooled to play defensively because he's pushing people further away, which is where he playing as a zoner would want.
Yeah. I think that they started out, and this is just my kind of speculation, is that looking at the way Street Fighter V started out, I think that Capcom wanted to go with a game that was very esports focused. They wanted to make it a game which spectators could watch and enjoy without necessarily knowing how the game functioned, because one of the biggest shortcomings of Street Fighter 4 was it was a great game to watch if you knew how Street Fighter 4 worked, but if you didn't know how it worked, you'd be wondering why are these two people just walking back and forth and trying to poke each other. So they went for a game which had very big damage, explosive combos, big comebacks, things like that. And as each season progresses, they're slowly winding that back and walking it back, and we're sort of getting to the stage now where it's starting to get a bit closer to what Street Fighter 4 originally was.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that. You know, I think it's so testament to, I don't know, just like look at V triggers. You know, like all V triggers these days to me feel the same. You know, like at the start, I felt like all V triggers were quite different and unique, and now it seems like activate V trigger, do a lot of damage, make them guess once or twice, and then they get stunned and die. And because of that, there's a whole lot of comebacks. And just talking to like people at Gfinity who've never watched or played Street Fighter before, like there's so many people who are coming up to me and saying like, I'm so interested in this game, like it's so fun to watch.
Yeah.
And I think it's really good from a spectator's point of view. And I think Street Fighter always has been. Like it's, to me, like I don't personally understand why so many people watch like League of Legends and stuff, right? Like if you understand the game, if you play the game, you know, it'll be fun to watch. But if you don't, then what's more simple than watching two characters fight each other and like health bars moving up and down, right? It's,
I mean, one of my favorite spectator games to watch that I don't actually play is Marvel.
Yeah.
Like if you watch Marvel 3, I've never played, I own that game, I've never been good at it, but holy shit, you watch that game and it's just, like, you don't have to understand what's going on to just see a lot of colors and explosions and noises and just be like, this is really entertaining.
Like back in the day, like
there's shit happening, there's big,
had the highest
big numbers.
Viewers, I believe, like at EVO and stuff. Is it that was Smash?
I'm not sure about that. I think the highest number is Micro Dragon Ball FighterZ after the last season.
I'm talking like when Marvel 3 was its prime, yeah, when it was like Street Fighter 4 and Marvel.
It's possible,
yeah, and that's where you get all the When's Marvel jokes, you know?
Yeah. All right. Well, let me ask you a question. Let me put on my Alex Jones tinfoil hat here for a moment, and ask you, because there is it's a conspiracy theory that I think I may have dreamt it up. I may have read it somewhere else. I can't remember, but I'm going to run with it anyway. The theory is that when it comes to balancing Street Fighter 5, with each season, with each season 3, season 3.5. With every iteration, the Capcom don't necessarily balance the game based on what makes the roster completely balanced. They base the balancing on which characters they want to see a lot of play. Characters that represent Street Fighter, that have a lot of marketability, things like that.
I'm like a game designer by day, and I kind of focus a lot on like balancing things. And if I was in Capcom's position, I would not try and balance each character evenly. Like it's just not possible. You know, like there's so many different outcomes, so many different moves. Obviously, like you want to try as hard as you can to make it as fair as possible, but really the crux of it is not every character is designed to be competitive. You know, like Fung, for example, will honestly never be top tier because if he was, he wouldn't be fun. And I think Zangief is a good display of that in season 2, right? It's like nobody wanted to verse Zangief because you get grabbed and then you put in a 50-50 and they put another 50-50 and then you put another 50-50 and then you die. It's just not fun. And characters like that shouldn't be competitive, in my personal opinion, because they're just not fun. And that's that. And I think on the other flip side, this is probably why we see Ed get consistently nerfed, is because I think they don't design Ed to be competitive. They design Ed to be a good entry character. You know, they want people who never played Street Fighter 4, who aren't comfortable with motions, to have a character that they can learn the game with. So I guess you just got to kind of look at what their ideals are, because you really can't balance like a roster of like 40 characters to be 100% like 5-5 matchups across the board. Like I don't see that being possible ever.
I don't think anyone's ever expecting a game to be completely balanced, because as you said, it's impossible to take into account all the variables, especially with a roster that grows larger and larger each season. That's just not going to happen, and obviously there's meta to think about and things like that there. But at the same time, so for that reason, like when a game comes out, no one can ever expect it to be balanced properly. And it's unreasonable to think that it should be. But I think with time, again, you go back to the Street Fighter 4 example, that was a game which took about 8 years through, Street Fighter 4, Super Street Fighter 4, Ultra Street Fighter 4, Ultra Street Fighter 4 version, Arcade Edition version 2012, Ultra Street Fighter 4. And Ultra Street Fighter 4, a lot of people agree, is actually a fairly reasonably well balanced game. But like as far as that game goes, it's pretty good. There's a lot of the cast is viable in that game, and I just don't know if we'll ever get to that point in Street Fighter V with the way that Capcom keep balancing the game, considering that they make some baffling decisions in terms of characters. Obviously we can beat a dead horse and look to Cammy. It's like, why does Cammy just get better and better every season when she's already started out really good?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say though. Like at least when I was playing Street Fighter 4, like I didn't pay that much attention to the balance patches, right? Like not until right at the end. Like I just wasn't that kind of player. But I think they still existed, you know? Like I think even just looking at Mike Ross and his love for E Honda, and then how they like just nerfed him out of the game, according to him at least, you know. I think in Arcade Edition. So I think there's always going to be some character that is dreadful, but I think really it's just to me it's up to us as players to just kind of have a bit of faith. You know, it sucks that you know we only see balance patches like twice a year, but at the end of the day, I don't have any problems with that, because at the end of there are people who are playing this game for money. You know what I mean? For their living, and if there are constant balance updates, you know, like every month, and they've got to constantly readjust, I think that's. I would rather that they have a stable environment. You know, I think 2 patches a year is quite good, honestly. Obviously, some characters get the short stick, but
yeah, there's always going to be a Dan character.
I hope there's going to be a Dan character in season 4, but.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll get to that in a second. Actually.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like Street Fighter players in particular should have like a more long haul approach, you know. And I think that's why I don't really want to swap from Alex. You know, I don't think he's ever going to be top tier, but I think at some stage in the game he might be good, you know. And like you said, it took like what, 8 years, maybe not 8 years, like 7 years or something from first release of Street Fighter to Ultra. And like it just gets better every patch, generally speaking.
And so, I mean, look, that's fair enough. I mean, you know, we both are character loyalists. You obviously have your Alex, and I stick with Jury. And look, I totally agree. I dream of season 4 making my character viable, despite all those people who think that Jury is secret top tier. And I just, every time I hear that from people, I just want to just wrap their dicks around their necks and stop them like a lawnmower. But that said, I'm really hoping that'll be the case. I don't think it'll happen, and that kind of leads us into what my next question was, which is about season 4. What are your predictions for season 4? Because I made a whole video. I recorded a whole video's worth of predictions for every single character, and it was like 40-50 minutes long, and I realized that was just way too long, and no one was gonna, I didn't think that anyone would really listen for that long, so I didn't end up using it. But I think, like, for me, I feel like with the way that Capcom have been balancing the game, historically speaking, I think Akuma's going to be left alone. I think Cammy's going to be left alone. They're just going to say both those characters are functioning as intended, and we don't need to really change anything about them. They'll give them like a couple of token changes here and there, just because you have to give every character a change, because that's just the way that a balance patch works. But they won't change in the terms of their position and tiers. I think that Manat does not have that protection. She doesn't have that armor of being a legacy character, so they'll probably hit her with a nerf stick pretty hard. I think that they'll probably dial Guile back a bit, just because he's too good at doing everything. And I think that my big prediction is that I think that because Problem X won EVO, and because he just dismantled Takedo 6-0 with Bison, you don't take a tentpole character of Street Fighter and just fucking humiliate them on the world stage with a character who is just not in any way marketable at all. So I think Bison's going to get hit with a nerf tree. He's not going to get stick, he's going to get the whole fucking tree.
I think Akuma will be mostly left alone. I do think Cammy will receive some slight nerfs, just because her pushback is absolutely busted, and I don't see how that's fair in the slightest. Like, she can press like 3 lights and then a medium and then a heavy afterwards and still be in range for confirms. I would like to see some nerfs to Ibuki. I don't think Guile will change too much, just because I don't think there's much room to change much. Like, they can reduce his damage and maybe screw up some V-trigger combos of his, but like, you know, he throws booms and he throws flash kicks. Like, what's there to nerf? You know? But I don't know. I'm really confused about Season 4, man. Like, so many conflicting messages. Like I said, Season 3 was like trying to go a bit more footsies and defensive. Season 3.5 was like, oh, let's nerf V-triggers. I've heard rumors that Season 4 is going to have like new mechanics, like spending V-gauge to extend combos and stuff. And if they are going to do something like that, then the whole tier list is going to change. You know, it's just a new option for everyone, and I would expect a huge like shake-up. But reality of it is, I don't expect much. Honestly, I think we had season like Arcade Edition, and there's lots of new changes, and I really wouldn't expect much. I would just expect some character balance stuff to happen. I wouldn't expect the tiers to change too much. I think for the most part, like, Capcom are probably happy with, you know, the standings of the characters.
So, in terms of Guile, I think he's too good at being able to do everything. He's too good at defense, he's too good at offense, he's too good at zoning you, he's plus on so many moves, his booms are +2 on block. I think that Capcom he's never been a rushdown character before. I think that Capcom can dial back his offense without hurting the core of who Guile is supposed to be.
Yeah, I agree. Like, it's just his corner pressure. You know, like, you space his light need to be plus on block. You know, like, he presses buttons, more buttons into a boom, which is plus. And no, it's worth mentioning, no other character in the game is plus on a fireball. Unless they spend meter. You know, like, other characters have to spend meter on this, whereas Guile gets it for free. And you have to get very creative about that approach. Like, I tend to not block at all against Guiles in the corner. Like, after he's gotten a certain space, I'll just not block, because, you know, when you're blocking, you get a slightly extended hurt box. So they'll use, like, the knee to push in, and the knee will whiff because you're not blocking. You know, and, like, that's kind of like a very counterintuitive thing to do. You know what I mean? Like, it's not something that
I'll block with my face.
Yeah, exactly. And it's very, like, they can just press another button and I'm not blocking, right? So it just feels like, especially characters that don't have like invincible DPs, Guile just gets away with so much in the corner, you know? And yeah, okay, I'm just gonna go out and say it's dumb. It's busted. Like, there's really no defense for it.
Well, I think that what bothers me as well about Guile is that Guile, he's supposed to be this turtle character, yet he has really strong defense, he has really strong offense, and he also has mix-ups as well on top of all that. Because even without the booms, if Guile gets in your face, I've just resigned myself to take the throw when Guile gets in my face, because I would rather take the throw than go for the delay tech and eat an upside down kick to the face, into a combo, into a knockdown, into another guessing game.
Yep. That's all I have to say about that. Yep.
Yeah. It's just, that's absolutely right. Yep, that's all good. Okay, moving on. Next topic. All right. Okay, so non-Street Fighter. VGAs just went down a few days ago.
Yeah.
Any thoughts on that? Was there anything from there that excited you, or anything that caught your attention? Mortal Kombat 11 obviously got announced, which was obviously a big deal. Thoughts on that? Thoughts on anything else? Go.
I mean, there's not a lot that really caught my attention. I mean, I've never really played a Persona game, so wasn't really interested in the Smash Brothers announcement. MK11 is, I have like mixed feelings. Like, I've never really liked an NRS game, but MKX was like very close. Like, it just kind of felt a little bit more Street Fighter-y.
Can you make a Mortal Kombat but like Street Fighter?
Yeah, like, NRS games always felt like a little bit off to me. And then Injustice was like, oh, you know, like, maybe I could enjoy this. And then MKX came out, and I actually really enjoyed it. And I probably would have kept playing it if I had people around me that would have also played it, you know? So in that sense, I was really looking forward to Injustice 2, because I was like, well, if they, you know, take Injustice and mash it with MKX a bit, and then it's probably going to be a game I enjoy. And I just didn't really click with Injustice. So, like, there's a part of me that's excited, because I feel like I can enjoy MK. Like, I feel like there's something in there that I want to play. And MK so far has never really just quite done it for me. But I don't think MKX was too far off. So if they can take MKX, improve on it in just a few places, then I think I could actually really, really get into it. But
if they could take MKX, maybe just put Alex in, it just beautiful. It'd be great.
Maybe. I mean, I can play other characters. Come on. But yeah, I mean, it's hard for me to get excited about it, because it's not a series I have like a deep history with, and to my knowledge, there was no gameplay released. It was just like a pre-rendered trailer, so it's like, I could get excited about it when I see some gameplay or when I play it, but at the moment, I'm just kind of bystanding.
They've released some trailers for it. There was a trailer and they had some screenshots for it, but they haven't actually showed any gameplay of it yet.
I think fighting games right now are in just such a good spot, man. I think Street Fighter is it's starting to get to a point where people aren't complaining about it so much. Dragon Ball FighterZ.
You have not said it on my streams, clearly.
I mean, apparently that code changes, fixes are coming. Apparently.
Allegedly.
I think Dragon Ball FighterZ is really starting to man, when Dragon Ball FighterZ came out, I was like, this game is good, but it's not quite there. And I think like in a year or two, this game is going to be absolutely lit. Like it's going to be so fun.
I'm kind of the opposite with Dragon Ball FighterZ.
And I think when it came out, I was like, get there. I think Dragon Ball FighterZ is starting to get there. MK11's coming out of the corner. Soul Calibur 6, super, really enjoyed it. Smash Brothers Ultimate, I just think right now is such a good time for fighting games.
Okay, one question I really did have about the VGAs is that Sonic Fox won Esports Person of the Year, and I wanted to ask your opinion on this because I got this question in my chat, and I think it's an interesting question. You can dodge this question because it is a little bit political, if you want to, but I wanted to put it out there and see what your opinion was. So Sonic Fox, Esports Person of the Year, he's out there. He's essentially probably the face of the FGC right now, and he goes up there and he accepts a reward. He accepts an award in full Persona gear. And my question is that not whether that's right or not, because he is, he's an adult. He can do what he wants. If he feels that he's better represented as an animal or not, that's his business. I don't care about that. I don't care about his proclivities. My question is that professional? Do you think that is giving a good image of the FGC to people who are not necessarily in touch with what we are?
Oh.
It's a killer question.
I was gonna say it's totally fine. I was gonna say it's totally fine. I think I appreciate people who can just be themselves. And then they're not worried about being professional. I think that to me is it's just a trigger word, really. It's being professional. What does that mean? I don't. It's like saying you want to be pretending to be someone else. Pretending to be someone you're not. And I don't care for it. I would rather that people would just be themselves. But then you said, does it represent the FGC? Well, and then you got me thinking, maybe, I don't know. It's hard to say. I'm
it's a big question. I get that.
The FGC. I don't know how I would. I don't think someone would look at that and be like, oh, everyone in the FGC is a furry. I don't. Surely not. I would like to think that people have some common sense.
2 more questions and we'll wrap this up. So, your thoughts on where esports is going in the next 10 years?
Oh, God. I honestly can't say, man. I think it'll take a long time to really settle down. Every time there's an esports event on ESPN, someone's complaining about it, and I think it'll take some time for big sports places to come around to it, but I feel like they are starting to, a lot of these big teams like Echo Fox are sponsored by big professional sporters, and they're trying to take their love of sports and trying to meld it with the FGC or with esports, and I mean, I think it'll happen, but I think 10 years is the minimum. I think honestly, we're looking at 25 to 30 Like to even compare it to sports, you know, to say like, you know that meme? I don't know if you've seen it. There's like this little meme. It's like this little cartoon, and it's like every post-game sports interview ever. You know, and he's like, oh, you know, we sports our hardest. You know, we sports, but they sports better, and in the end, they're the better sportsers.
We took the soccer ball and we ran to the end zone.
And then right at like the last clip is like, my wage is higher than most third world countries. You know?
Yeah.
Will we ever get that far? Probably. You know, like salaried players and things. But I feel like, you know, like sports in general has had like hundreds of years to kind of be where it is, right? And essentially esports is competing with regular sports, you know? And I think it'll take a long time to get to that kind of level. I feel like if you're not like top 10 in Street Fighter, like you're not making a living off this. Even then, you know, like NuckleDu was killing it one year, and then the next year he's probably just, you know, just all red the next, you know, he's not making any money, he's losing it. I think that's really what esports is. It's just making money off video games.
Yeah, the payouts just aren't there at the moment. That kind of lines up with what you were saying. That aside from winning like the Capcom World Tour, you're looking at very small prize pools for a lot of even major events.
There's been a couple of events recently. I think it was an Injustice one where the prize pool was more evenly split. I can't remember what event it was, but it kind of took everyone a bit by surprise. Where I think they were giving out winnings, you know, at least something for like top 16 or something, you know. And the point of like the FTC, I think we're not going to see salaries for FTC players for like probably like 50 years, you know. So if we can at least start taking steps to make these players at least feel like they're not losing out, you know.
Yeah. All right, cool. Okay. Fair enough. All right. Last. I mean, I think that I think the timeline might be a bit shorter than what you're saying. I think personally that the kids that are growing up now, like the esports is what they watch. They don't watch a lot of the traditional sports. They're all, you know, it may not be the FGC. They may be watching Fortnite. They may be watching Ninja, but that's going to be what they're raised on. So I think in like 10, 15 years, they're going to have disposable incomes, and then that will bring esports a lot more into the forefront of public awareness.
Yeah. I think in the next generation, we might see it be at least considered mainstream. But, you know, like me growing up, I remember asking my mum, she was like, you can do anything, Rob. And I was like, can I be a professional, like, gamer? She's like, no. No, not that. Like,
you can be anything, Rob, but not that.
Mom. Well, look what I'm doing now.
All right. Last question then. So, what are you playing when you're not streaming?
Honestly, not a lot.
Really?
Yeah, I mean a little bit of World of Warcraft, but I stream four days a week, and then I have 3 days off, and I force myself to take these days off to try and keep friends. I don't know if you have this problem.
I don't have friends, so it's not a problem.
But yeah, you know, like I've definitely had friends in the past who've been like, I feel like I never see you, and it's like, what are you talking about? We play Dungeons and Dragons once a week, and we go rock climbing once a week. That's like more than most of my other friends. So it's like I try and reserve my days off for spending time with other friends. But yeah, I guess I try and keep those days a bit more social, because the other days are a bit more serious. You know, they're a bit more full on. And then yeah, if I end up doing like 7-day-a-week streams, I just end up and playing and practicing. I just end up getting really drained, you know. And at the end of the day, it's not my job, you know. So.
But it could be one day.
No, that's the next generation. That's
could be getting those big Fortnite bucks.
That's Baby Sla's problem.
All right, fair enough. All right, let's wrap up there. This has gone on long enough. I'm sure you got stuff that you want to do. At Robbiesla on Twitch. At Robbiesla on Twitter. On Twitch, it's Robbiesla. Again, I'm going to have links in the description below.
For everything.
Yeah, it's just think coleslaw, but with Robbie in it. And you'll be sweet.
I've never heard that before.
So that's it. All right, well, thank you very much, guys. Kisses, hugs, belly rubs. I will see all of you, and hopefully maybe with another podcast. We don't know. It just depends on how much people like this. Very soon.
Thanks, dude. Have a good one.